When we think about the race for AI dominance, our minds usually jump to software, right? To algorithms and data. But what if the real fight, the real battle, isn't being fought in lines of code, but for the raw physical stuff that brings all that code to life? That's what we're digging into today, and honestly, the answer is going to change how you see the future of tech.
And that quote, it really gets to the heart of what we're talking about. We're going to peel back the curtain on the AI race and look at the gritty geopolitical underbelly. This is a story that's not just about bytes and bits, it's about barrels of oil and semiconductor factories.
So to really get what's happening now, we've got to rewind the clock. The 20th century taught us a massive lesson. Whoever controls the world's most critical resource, well, they control the world. And for the last 70 years or so, that resource was oil. Okay, look at this timeline. This really maps out how America built its power. These weren't just random events happening. From creating the petrodollar system all the way to direct military actions like Desert Storm and, yes, the 2003 invasion of Iraq, U.S. foreign policy was absolutely laser-focused on one thing: keeping Middle Eastern oil flowing, and maybe even more importantly, making sure every last drop was sold in U.S. dollars. It was a strategy of total control.
This right here, this was the masterstroke, the petrodollar system. See, after the gold standard fell apart, the U.S. needed a new anchor for the dollar's global power. So what did they do? They tied the world's most essential commodity, oil, directly to their currency. This move guaranteed a constant worldwide demand for dollars, and it basically underwrote America's economic dominance for decades to come.
And this is how that system became a weapon. It wasn't just some friendly economic deal. Oil-producing countries would take their dollars and use them to buy U.S. government debt, and, of course, U.S. weapons. This created a perfect loop that just made American influence stronger and stronger. So what happened if a country tried to step out of line? Well, let's look at Iraq. In late 2000, Saddam Hussein started selling Iraq's oil in euros instead of dollars. A little over 2 years later, the U.S. invaded. Now, you can call it a coincidence, but the message it sent to the rest of the world was crystal clear. Don't mess with the petrodollar.
All right, so that was the 20th century playbook. Now let's fast forward. The world for sure still runs on oil, but a new resource has climbed to the top, one that is every bit as critical for the 21st century: advanced semiconductors.
This comparison is just wild when you look at it. Semiconductors really are the new oil. They are the fuel for the entire information age, and especially for AI. And just like oil had its big choke point, the Strait of Hormuz, semiconductors have theirs, Taiwan. This situation has created what people call the silicon shield, this idea that Taiwan is so vital to the global economy that it's protected from attack. But we're about to see just how fragile that shield might be.
And here's the crucial part. China gets this new reality completely. They're facing U.S. sanctions specifically designed to cut them off from these advanced chips. So for Beijing, this isn't just business anymore. It's a matter of national survival. They are pouring unbelievable amounts of money into building their own chip industry, not to make a profit next quarter, but to secure their entire future.
Just look at this chart. It shows you exactly why the stakes are so ridiculously high. This isn't just steady, normal growth. It's an explosion. The semiconductor market is just going vertical, and it's being pulled up almost entirely by the insane appetite of AI. This isn't just a market, it's a full-blown arms race for the hardware that will define the next global revolution.
Okay, so let's zoom in on that critical choke point we just mentioned, because the entire global tech industry, we're talking trillions of dollars, and the very future of AI, it all rests on a foundation that is just incredibly, incredibly fragile.
90%. Just let that number sink in for a second. 9 out of every 10 of the world's most powerful AI chips, the brains inside everything from NVIDIA, Google, you name it, they are all made by one single company, TSMC in Taiwan. This is, without a doubt, the most extreme concentration of a global resource in modern history.
I mean, the CEO of NVIDIA, the company that designs most of these world-changing chips, couldn't have said it any better. TSMC isn't just another company. It's a global strategic asset. It's so irreplaceable that it's become the single most dangerous point of failure for our entire digital world.
And this completely changes how we should think about the tension over Taiwan. For Beijing, this has moved way beyond just national pride or some historical claim. This is now a cold, hard, strategic calculation. To win the AI race and achieve that technological freedom they're so desperate for, China believes it has to control the means of production, and that means they need Taiwan's chip factories.
So what happens when the geopolitics of the old fuel, oil, crashes head-on into the geopolitics of the new fuel, chips? Well, you get a future that is incredibly fragile and, frankly, pretty dangerous.
This is where it all comes together. China's giant AI data centers need a mind-boggling amount of electricity. But the country itself is still massively dependent on imported oil from the Middle East to power its economy. Get this, a staggering 90% of Iran's crude oil goes straight to China. This creates a terrifying vulnerability for them. They need chips from Taiwan, a place they don't control, and they need oil from a region where the U.S. military has been the dominant power for decades.
And you better believe the United States knows this. America's grip on global energy supply chains isn't just some dusty relic of the 20th century. Oh no. It is a powerful, active lever that it can pull right now to try and choke China's technological growth. If you control the oil, you can put immense pressure on their entire system.
But this isn't a one-sided fight. China has been playing the long game, methodically building its own points of leverage. Check this out. While everyone's focused on who makes the final chips, China has quietly gone out and secured control over what the chips are made of. By dominating the refining of critical stuff like rare earths and gallium, Beijing can now squeeze the supply chain right at the very beginning.
So we're left with this really unsettling picture. The AI revolution feels so virtual, right? So futuristic, but it's completely dependent on a shaky, physical supply chain that stretches all the way from the oil fields of the Persian Gulf to the chip fabs in Taiwan. Both of those places are now central arenas in this great power competition. So the question we have to ask ourselves is, what happens to our digital world when one of those physical links finally snaps?